Well, hello everybody. Miss Ojeda here, and I am going to talk to you again about nonfiction books. I would like to start with the little poster that I made because really this poster tells you a lot on one page. So let's go over it together. Oops, on this side, starting from the top, it says nonfiction. Non-fiction, T-I-O-N. Nonfiction is not pretend, all facts, only true information, new subjects of all kinds. That's nonfiction. From planets to insects to dinosaurs to penguins, it usually, most texts that are nonfiction have an index and a table of contents. Nonfiction is the best kind of book to go to when you have a curiosity to learn more. Text features inside of your nonfiction books, they help to guide your reading and point out important things. Some of them are italics, bold print, and underlining. So, open a nonfiction book and learn new things that interest you. Learn new things that interest you. Um, I wanted to tell you that on that same, in that same idea, nonfiction is a great place to go when you want to have questions answered. If you've ever thought about something like, why are some rocks smooth and some rocks are jagged? You could find that out in a nonfiction book about rocks. If you wanted to know how water stays up in the sky before it rains, you could find a nonfiction book about clouds or a big word called precipitation. And that's kind of about the water cycle. That's a really interesting thing to check out. I'll show you a book that I found recently, and I am going to read it really soon. It's called Honey from Hive to Home. And I have to say, I am a fan of honey. I like to put honey on my oatmeal and in other things as well. But whenever people tell me that honey comes from bees, bees make honey, well, I always get this kind of picture in my head of all these little bees buzzing and stirring pots and putting things on this little tiny bee stoves and stirring it and big smoky steam coming out. But I don't think that bees hold spoons and cook on stoves. So my curiosity is telling me read a book, and a nonfiction book is the perfect kind of book to go to. So I'll read this one later when I have more time. But today I would like to talk to you about life in the rainforest. I showed you this book earlier and talked about how it is a nonfiction book called a reference book or a research book. It's the type of book that gives you information. And do you think that this book, Life in the Rainforest, gives you information about how to make honey? No. So the illustrations or the photographs will match the title of the book in some way, Life in the Rainforest. Well, the coolest thing happened. I was in my classroom and I found a bunch of books I have about habitats where animals live. And wouldn't you know, I found this book all about rainforests. And I got so excited because I wanted to see if they were exactly the same. And if you look at the covers and you look at the photographs, you can see both books have photographs, which is really common for nonfiction, but they're different photographs. And so I'm going to put Life in the Rainforest down for a moment, and we're going to take a quick peek at all about rainforests first and see what kind of information is in this book and if it answers certain questions. So, a question I have about the rainforest is, does it rain all the time without stopping? I've always wondered that. Maybe that will be answered in this book. Let's find out. All about rainforests. And that looks like an orangutan and a baby orangutan. Oh, do you know what this is called? Table of contents. Okay. Notice how we have a nice dark title for this section in the book. What is a rainforest? A rainforest is a land of tall trees. It is a wet habitat. Lots of rain falls here. Does that answer my question? My question was, does it always rain in a rainforest? This says lots of rain falls here, and it is a wet habitat. It almost answers my question, but not quite. Treetops cross. They form a canopy. Little sun gets in. That means it stays pretty shady. So all the trees where they are touching each other way, way high up, that area is called the canopy. In the trees, plants and animals live in the trees. Vines grow up the trees. Look at those vines. Animals climb the vines. A sloth goes from tree to tree. Frogs hide in the leaves. So it looks like the animals in the rainforest use different types of features that trees and plants have to help them live. The treetops are loud. Parrots sing, monkeys howl. Now that is where parrots live in nature. I've only seen parrots live in cages, but they do live in nature in rainforests. On the floor, the forest floor is still. Roots stick out of the ground. It's still. That means there's not a lot of movement down there. I think more movement up in the trees. A butterfly rests here on a big leaf. Big cats hunt in the rainforest. So big cats meaning wild cats, not cats like pet cats like we have, but maybe tigers, maybe panthers, things like that. A crocodile cools off in mud, its jaws wide open. Ah, so in rainforests there must be enough water, like little ponds or rivers or something, because crocodiles like to live where there's a lot of water. Look up in the rainforest, look down. Animals are at home from top to bottom. And down here, we have a little rectangle shape, green thing. And inside of that, it has some words. It says mountain gorilla. So, okay, it's kind of like labeling your picture. This looks like something that is helping us to know what this is. It's probably a mountain gorilla. Ah, that's the end of the book, except for there's something called a glossary at the end. And then in this book, it says read more. And so if you didn't get your question answered, you could look for other books about rainforests. A Day and Night in the Rainforest, toucans, animals of the rainforest, tree frogs, all kinds of different books. And then it shows internet sites so that you could know where to find information online as well. And then here is an index. Okay, so we got to know quite a bit about this book, and we learned that there's a lot of rain. It's very rarely dry, and it rains most of the time, but we didn't find out if it rains all of the time. Okay, and you know, this book might not answer my question either, but if that's true, you can still look for more. Life in the Rainforest. I'm not going to read this whole book because it will take quite a while. And yet I want to show you some of it, and we're going to see if it's exactly the same as the other book we just looked at. Did the other book have a table of contents? Yeah, I believe it did, but it didn't look like this. It didn't look like this one. It didn't have a picture, a photograph of a person. Wow. Take a look and just think about it. Does this look the same or different than the last book? If you said different, I agree with you, because in this book, there are sections of text That's where the words are. Kind of in circular areas there and even here. This kind of makes me think of the shape of a circle. And in here, in this green area, there's like a circle. And then there are some big words, hot and wet. Oh, look, down here there's something that looks like information about the plant here. Okay, lots of rain. Look at that. Another page that is kind of fancy. The words are here, they're here, and the big words say drip drop. And here's another little area that is talking about something we see in the picture. Living here. I'm looking for something that says rain, like how much does it rain? Oh, didn't it say drip drop? Oh, it did. Oh, let me just check really quick. It is hot in the rainforest. It rains most of the time, but it is sunny too. Most of the time, not all of the time. No sun below. Rainforest trees are very tall. Their huge leaves catch the sun, so it's dark on the ground. Raining again. Raindrops fall onto rainforest leaves. They dry in the sun, then rise back into the air. Later, they fall back down again as the raindrops. Okay. Thank goodness that I read drip drop and lots of rain because I almost passed the area that gave me the answer to my question. I would like to read this because it says poo, and I'm curious about that. Curious is a great word. Frog, forest, hands off, don't touch. This must be about things you shouldn't touch. Maybe you can get poison or a sting or something. This part is all about birds. Bird world, keep flapping. And look at this, creepy crawlies, killer bug. Beautiful. So I'm wondering if this book is going to talk at all about how rainforests are getting damaged. Staying alive. This is talking about how different animals stay alive. Special plants. Oh, we need rainforests. I wonder if that's going to be talking about how rainforests are important and we have to be careful not to damage them. Look at that, in danger, lost forever. Every second, an area of rainforest the size of a soccer field is chopped down. You can help. It gives information about how we can help to save the rainforests. That's exactly what I was hoping to see. And then at the very end, there we have a glossary. And look at that, further reading. Just like the other book, there's information about other books you can go to and even websites if you want to learn more about the rainforest. Oh, finally, I see an index. So, could you tell by looking that these two books had different kinds of features? Even though the topic was rainforests and they both were excellent books, they weren't exactly the same, and I'm glad because each book had nice different kinds of things and each book looked different, and I liked that. So, if you have a question about something, don't just look for one nonfiction book, look for two or more. If your question isn't answered in the first book, it might be when you keep looking in the second or third. All right, friends? So next up is Mrs. Brown, and I'm so sorry, Godzilla. Why didn't you say something earlier? Oh, Godzilla said that he didn't want to interrupt me because rainforests are very green, and he was enjoying seeing all of that green. I bet you were, Godzilla. Oh, why are you sad? Oh, your friend Victor? Okay, I'll tell them. Godzilla has a friend named Victor. And I'm not going to tell you all about Victor right now, but Victor is a kind of animal that's a real animal. You could actually get a nonfiction book. I know, Godzilla. You could get a nonfiction book about Victor's type of animal. Godzilla feels sad because he's not a real type of animal. He looks kind of like a dinosaur, but not exactly.